Hiya, hiya. There's no news. Can you imagine? You turn the TV on and the guy goes, "There's no news. Nothing's happening today. Nothing. We didn't even have the police blotter to read. Nothing. Nobody did anything wrong. Nobody was bad. Nothing happened that's out of the ordinary. There's nothing interesting. You're stuck with me and my 15 pharmaceutical commercials and Geico and lawyers." Well, I do have news. I have an exclusive picture of the governor of Florida. Now, let's be careful, DeSantis. He is a very, very interesting duck. And I am fishing for news. That's why I have my fish and duck shirt on, just so you can see the match here. I want you to see that I'm actually theming it out. When you don't have news, you better have fashion. So back to the governor. So the governor of Florida, all right, what's his story? I have a picture of his socks, and this is exclusive. The Disney people are dying to get a copy of this photo. They are not objecting to the word gay, but he is. Well, gay to me was festive. It used to be said in circles of celebration, gaiety. That was even the name of a theater at one time. It was a burlesque theater, but it was the name of a theater. The Gaiety. And they had a lot of fun in the earlier days of the wars that we had, and people would have a gay old time, Now it's a gray old time. My sister's birthday is today. She's 90 years old, and I'm going to have to send her some food stamps and a walker. But other than that, she's doing fine. Is that you tweeting? What are you having a fit about? So she's not getting her equal time. That's it. Usually she sits on my shoulder and bites my wire. I love Jackie the Joke Man says about dogs, He said the reason a dog licks butts is because he knows in 10 minutes he's going to lick his owner's face. Jackie, you are a pig. Oh, somebody calling me in the middle of my rap. That's just what I need. So talking about all the things that we have done in our society and haven't done, one of the things that we need to have is the triangle of love. We need, what is it? What's that triangle, the one that we have, that anger, fear, and resentment is the flip side of recovery, hope, and prostitution. No. But there's a woman that's wrote a book on triangular and triangulating. Now they've done everything. We've had people who are writing about squares, people who are writing about the circle of friends. Now it's triangular. So we're into a ruptured hypotenuse period of our lives in American history, writing about books that really nobody reads. But we have a lot of opinions. People get on the air on television now on these talk shows in the morning because they give opinions. Like The View is 5 bitches in heat. The bitches of Eastwick, I call them. And then the other one is, what's that other one in the afternoon? The Talk. They're all doing this now. Everybody's doing it. And I think we're missing a couple of these people who were doing the format before, but they're not doing it anymore because they don't get the punch anymore. You don't get the money out of syndication you used to get when you were, in the early days, the only game in town. The reason to have these shows was a political reason on television in local markets. For instance, on a television station in your city, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you would probably see Judge Judy. And maybe at 4 o'clock, you would see Oprah. And then the news would start at 5. And after the news, you'd go into Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. They had it all figured out so that they kept you enthralled in this whole bubble, or was it a triangle? But they kept you going with this thing. And you were always going to be persuaded to go to that channel. They built loyalty. Now, with the podcasts, listening in cars and downloading and tooling around, and everybody who's there's no sense of where we belong anymore. I mean, you don't have that habit anymore. That's what I mean. And let me reference it. In the morning when you were a kid in school, you would turn the radio on and find out if the school was open or closed because of a storm. You'd find out the weather. You would be interested in what to wear. Now we have AccuWindow weather. You open the window, see what it is, and go out. But it's a different world that we live in now because the windows are not the windows you used to use to open up to let fresh air in. This is the windows that you use on your computer so that you can be very quick to get to the next subject and maybe multitask and try to jam your brain with every piece of information that's available. I got to the point now where I Googled Google, and they had no answer about who they are. So I got to the point also where I think that in this particular Ukrainian invasion, where I think they needed GPS. The Russians needed to have GPS. They got lost. They were making a left turn in the wrong place. And then they got to have a nuclear facility, which they were wondering, what do we have this for? We don't know what to do with it anyway. It's not exactly a storage of bombs. It's just a facility where you have the fuel that you need, that nobody knows how to use it anyway. I mean, except scientists. And so they didn't need that. They uselessly went out of that particular development in Chernobyl. Now, we have, I went off on the subject for a minute because my mother used to do that. Then it distracts you from what the real problem is when someone brings in another item and then you forget what it's all about. And that's what I just did. See, now the point is that television does this all the time. And it's a trick. You're watching a story and then you see an infomercial or a commercial, and it takes you away from why you're there and what you're watching and what you're interested in. So what they do now is they tell you they give you a little bite about what's going to come up after the commercials, and they try to hook you in that way to keep you to have loyalty. The only way you're going to have any loyalty is if you hire me, and then too I would lie about unemployment. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that way, unless I work for Disney. You better not work for Disney if you are a guy in a woman's outfit. Yeah, the seven dwarfs. I know. When are we going to have that? We're going to have little people problems. Everybody else has had their day in court or on television or their complaints. Whether it's gay or straight or black or white or Asian or American or Mexican. Now it's little people, dwarfs, short people, whatever you want to call the small ones. I had this one guy that used to, came up to here on me, and he used to, what he really did was he stuck his nose in my business. I had to get rid of this guy, and I had a good assistant, though. He was pretty good. Where's the bird? Even she resigned. See, that's what happens. You get distracted. Another subject comes up. That's multitasking. I did not stay on one particular subject today. And there is no way that anybody is going to be sticking to one particular thing for half an hour anymore. It doesn't go that way, except for a ball game. But, it doesn't go that way, except for special interest. If you want to know how to antique furniture, you don't mind watching an hour of it. Or making a cheesecake, which incidentally I'm doing. The Joey Reynolds cheesecake is returning, and it's going to be returning without Joan Rivers because she passed. But she did my commercials for the cheesecake last time. She ate the cheesecake frozen and made fun of the Eskimos. Does she? No, I thought I had the ghost of Joan Rivers. Wouldn't you love to have had her on the red carpet this year? That would have been, now there you go. That's what was missing in this year's Oscars. They don't have to have the Oscars anymore. I've been through all this already. Why did I bring it up? We're just getting over it. And then the Grammy Awards, enough already. Zelensky got on the Grammy Awards and did a commercial for the Ukraine. A president of the United States never used to go on a pop show like that. Can you imagine Nixon during the Vietnam War getting up on camera on the Grammys with one of the songs, War, What's It Good For? Absolutely Nothing, Here's Edwin Starr, or People Get Ready, or any of those songs that were popular, and then you have the president standing there talking about Vietnam. It doesn't work. The mail is slow. I just got my bill for the Vietnam War. I'm doing great. I filled the car with gas yesterday, and I put it on my wife's credit card. Yeah, that's going to bounce. Anyway, it's a Reynolds wrap.